Hello. Hello.
Hello, Alex.
Hello,
I
this is.
heard from Uday that I think he might not be joining because he's a bit unwell today.
Mm, no worries. We still can have a working group. Hi, Ryan. Want to say hi?
Hi, I'm here.
All
Hello.
right. Cool. Nice to see you. So we'll wait a little bit, I guess. Maybe someone else will join. And meanwhile, I have to remember what we're talking about in this group. What are we talking about in this group? Uh, uh, so, hello. Don't know how to pronounce the name. Don't want to butcher it. If you'd like, please introduce yourself. Oh, hello.
Hi, Alex.
Oh, Ravindra, right?
Yes,
Is it only me, or is there is a sound issue with Ravindra?
Yeah, there's a network issue. I can't really hear what he's saying.
Okay, so maybe just say something more if we can hear what you're saying and your connection is stable. Okay, means connection maybe is unstable. Fair enough. Oh, Okay. I don't think it makes sense to wait any longer. If anyone shows up after, they will have to catch up. Okay. So for the newly arriving visitors to the group, welcome to the developer experience working to everyone. Welcome to the developer experience working group. And that's since there are new people joining, let's recap what this group is actually doing and what we could do together. So I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully it works. Oops. Okay.
We can start, I think.
I think that's what we are doing. Thank you. So to go back to the question, what is this group for? So this group came, the way I see it, it came as an onboarding initiative and a way for people who want to get more involved with Cardano to engage with it on a regular basis and find opportunities to kind of find their, it's quite difficult to put in words. When I joined Cardano, we learned this in the concept of ikigai, which is a Japanese thing, which is not maybe familiar to everyone. It's it's like how to be on an open source ecosystem, which is Cardano or other, and feel that your life is getting better because of it, and stay motivated, productive, impactful in the ecosystem. And having joined this group a long time ago, I think 2 years ago, we spent a good chunk of time just figuring out how this works. And just recently, when I was asked about someone, hey, Alex, how do I become Cardano expert? And the simplest answer I could give was that you have to choose a topic, and that was for an Intersect member. And the choice of topics is done through the calendar because there's regular meetings there. And this group is a case of this thing, except for maybe I'm not a person who is good with sticking to the rules. And developer experience, in my opinion, is a very narrow subject, which might not be interesting to all of people joining, because I don't think there's so much, or at least if you are an expert in developer experience, it comes with the, it's not the easiest thing to sell on the job market, right? So because I got through this, I think in this group, if someone wants to study developer experience and how it relates to Cardano and what it is their right and choice. I just don't want to keep this so narrow. And if I'm kicked out of Cardano for that, I'll be disappointed. But I hope learning about how Cardano works, that is exactly what is expected. So what I learned being on Cardano, and especially once I was able to make an agreement with the entity and ecosystem with Intersect is that what is really valued is autonomy. And autonomy means being interested and invested into doing something impactful in the ecosystem. So actively seeking out problems, and then so this is called problem sensing. And from problem sensing, framing problems, the things that are going wrong at the moment, or which could go and break things in the near future. And in the case of developer experience, this issue is described like this: like if developer experience is poor, then contributors who join the ecosystem, they tend to leave either quickly or at all, because ideally, if you are a member of an open source ecosystem, there's not much involvement that you have to have in order to be engaged with the ecosystem. Normally, as you get more experienced, you find other people who use you as a knowledge expert, and then there's different levels and circles of people, who talk to each other, and different circles have different connections to different pieces of information and knowledge about the ecosystem, and that's really valuable. So if you you see yourself like working on Cardano in 3 years, that would be the best thing to do, is to join Intersect and report not only this group, but also to like choose the thing that resonates with you. Developer experience in context of generally open source projects is about quite a few things, which I have to remember, because I was writing about this about some time ago, but don't have this in my memory right now. So there's the technical things, right? For example, starter projects and how easy it is to start. And there's a key result, for example, a developer should be able to run their first tests within like 30 minutes of their first encounter with the ecosystem. So someone says, oh, I want to try Cardano. They click on cardano.org, and from cardano.org till they're able to make an experiment and think, oh, this is how, like, I could do this piece of software on Cardano. Is it going to work? Should be ideally under 30 minutes. In reality, it's actually several weeks up to several months at this point. And this is a developer experience issue we are solving. And yeah, so why? Question, maybe some of you have a question like, why the hell to do this? And this comes a little bit back and on a more high level on how open source ecosystems work and what I see different between what people expect from looking for a job and difference between looking for a job in a old industry, not technology, but anything like construction or I don't know, publishing or manufacturing or whatever. And the similarities between these industries and the software which is proprietary, and open source ecosystems as the other piece of the puzzle. And why? Because Cardano is an open source ecosystem, and it works in a very peculiar way, which comes from the Haskell community from which the original code came. And still there's a lot of, even if there would be no Haskell code in Cardano, the cultural influence of Haskell ecosystem is very strong. And a lot of people think in ways of Haskell and learning Haskell, and the way, not even the programming language, but the ways of the community is what helps people progress in Cardano. So going back to the purpose of this group, open source ecosystems, they have this strange idea of merit. And actually, it's not an open source thing, but more of something that I learned on joining Cardano, and not have like having not really understanding of this concept or very kind of intuitive understanding of this concept from my background in Russia. And so from my research, from what I found, merit on one side represents a barrier to entry. So why someone can get a job in the ecosystem and another person not? Why someone can talk to people and they support their project and the others do not? And so because it's very difficult to point similarities and patterns for the situations like this because they're so different. But on the other side, we have to do this because we want contributors to be successful. We want people to join the ecosystem to achieve their goals, to be satisfied. And so the shared story that we present is that merit is a combination of two things, in my opinion, right? As many people you ask, there will be different opinion. And so for me, merit is twofold. On one side, it is how known you are and how many people know your nickname, your handle, and your face and your voice from the meetings, and how much they trust you, right? That's one of the basics of interactions is trust. And on the other side, how much potential do they see in you as a contributor? And so an example would be if any of you on a committee meeting or committee voting seat, right? That's what's happening in Cardano, in Intersect right now. If you were on a committee seat, means you would have voting power and also not the voting, but power of persuasion by language, being able to bring up your point of view in the meeting and talk about what you think about the problem at hand. And this would allow you to represent someone's interests in the committee. And these people would be, or organizations, they would have incentive to be on good terms with you. I'm not sure about how this corresponds to the Constitution because I haven't read it in detail. And there was a question asked, like, if I'm on a committee seat, is it a conflict of interest if some organization pays me to be there? And I thought, like, but what's the point otherwise, right? It's a good question, but if it would be considered a conflict of interest, what would be the point of being on a committee? And so there's a piece of Cardano that I know quite poorly, but it's an illustration of what is merit, and merit is like having a committee seat means someone trusted you with the vote, and it makes you more attractive as a potential contributor to a project. And being on projects is how we make our existence on Cardano sustainable, is we build end user or different kinds of things that other people value, right? And if they don't have anyone else who would be the good thing that is being proposed, and you don't have the time to do it for free or desire, then the only good outcome for everyone is so that you're getting paid and the project is delivered. And so coming back to the purpose of the group, developer experience, do we have it anywhere here actually? What do we do? Oh yeah, so I'm gonna share this repo. And if you're interested in working on the developer experience side of Cardano things, there in README, these are things that are considered kind of key results for this working group. So anything you do on this list and approve as a pull request into the repository well, we on Cardano are quite shy to talk about this, and Tex, who just joined and dropped, he was just saying in the previous meeting, I hate to talk about volunteerism, but I was just talking to Nick's community, right? And they just told me directly, oh, if you want to get more involved and get hired, please do more open source contributions. We have a metric. Unless you merge 50 pull requests, you cannot get merge rights. So it's a badge on GitHub. And unless you get merge rights badge on GitHub, you cannot apply for this role in our onboarding program. So they tell it outright. In Cardano, people don't like to tell it because we have the idea of incentivized contributions as the core value of Cardano. So anything you do should be paid. And having done many things for Cardano for free, I really, at this point, object anyone saying like, I'm going to do this thing for free. You know, I'm not going to object so much as that tell you, no, don't do this. If you understand what is value that you're getting from free contributions to open source, and usually it's experience and working with technologies, you wouldn't have opportunity to work otherwise. But otherwise, just doing stuff for the hope of, you know, something being recognized in the future makes no sense to me. And what makes sense to me is making proposals to complete some kind of work which you think could be good for the ecosystem and is worth paying for. And so the process at which we settled so far is rooted in sociocracy. And sociocracy is a large framework, so a set of documentation, like pieces of documentation which describe how organization works. But in 2 words, it works like this. There is a treasury for something, and people come to a meeting and they say, I have this proposal to present, and they present the proposal and they say, here is what I'm going to do. This is how much it's going to cost. And the point is, like, unless there are objections from the meeting, we say the proposal is going ahead, and the author of the proposal and his collaborators start working, deliver the proposal, and they, upon delivery, they get a withdrawal from the treasury. There's one big caveat with this group, so we don't have the treasury. My idea is failed from the beginning. So what I proposed to Intersect is that our first collaborative proposal in this group would be this a little game, which is called Open Governance, and it would be actually here. What is open governance? Described here how it works with the links to sociocracy thing. And the only thing that I came up with is that we could have a treasury and make this kind of a dummy token, you know, or fake money token. We had this experiment in Gimbal Labs, and it ended up with people doing some interesting things for these tokens, which were not even listed on the exchange, including myself. I have about several 100,000 of these tokens. And then the organization is as it existed at the moment. Gained enough reputation so that voters in Catalyst supported it with a treasury. And so we ended up running a real experiment, and I think it's still ongoing, where the organization treasury is being filled from the proposals that organization submits. And then the organization or the group is autonomous in the sense of how they govern this treasury, and their shared interest is to keep this process ongoing. So people really deliver interesting proposals and interesting work. So if anyone is interested in working this out as a technical infrastructure and making a page where we could connect to the mainnet and supply wallets and do this thing on just a pen and paper, maybe, right? Even we don't, I think, maybe need the technical infrastructure. Yeah, we could have a shared document just with a history of change. Could be a pull request in this repo. And so there would be then if you were to be interested in playing this kind of a half a game, half work, somewhere in between. So I think what you can do is to, so create a pull request for the repo, and then make a proposal of kind of something like something like adding a file here at the top level, markdown file, and in this markdown file having a brief description of what you want to accomplish and how many hours it will take in order to what I proposed is to just record contributions, and then once we have the treasury, to seek ways to reward contributors retrospectively. But unfortunately, this this approach failed in the past, because like working for promises doesn't work for anyone. So far, you can consider this an like open source involvement. If you think that building this project takes less of your time and less of your energy than you would get out of it, so please volunteer, and let's build this thing together. Otherwise, the rest of the meeting, if any one of you have developer experience problems, things that you want to accomplish and you face blockers, just at this moment go ahead and tell us about what is your issue. Or if you have questions about what I said just in this introduction.
For the contribution, can I push the proposal on the main branch, or should I use any other branch for that?
Well, you would be pushing for sure for a main branch, but in this stage, consider marking your proposal as a draft, because because I submitted, I think, like 20 pull requests to this repo, and I'm not the person who is approving them. We have to work this out. So contribute to the main branch. And let's work towards approving your.
So, and another question I had is that for the proposal, I can propose any proposal related to issue. Does it should be a smart contract related, or can it be any like for a marketplace or any other project?
Well, let's agree on this. If you have a proposal which doesn't fit the scope, like if it doesn't fit the scope of the group, what we essentially would do here is you would submit proposals which would give us some kind of a budget estimate for what people, you guys who showed up and show interest in this subject, what you would like to do and how much you would like to get paid for it. And then my job would be to get hold of Terence and Christian, and together with them or myself, lobby the open source committee to include these items in the budget. And we still have until June to submit some proposals. And this would be, I think, interesting outcome. So if you have an idea, but mind that if the proposal doesn't fit the scope of the group, we will have to look for other way to fund it. If you have a product proposal and you wanna, if it fits, if you would rather closed source it, if it's a thing that you would do for a user, then I don't think it's a good place to put it here, just for confidentiality and not giving out your idea. Then just write it down, maybe explain, book a call with me, explain with me in a short, what you're trying to do, and I will connect you to Tex and the product committee. But if you want to do something that it has to fit in the scope of README, otherwise following this instruction, the first thing, like if you present a proposal which doesn't align with the README here, key focus areas or what we do, then the first thing that would pop up in the meeting might be like, but why exactly this is not the path to fund this proposal, right? So if you keep it on these areas, then it should be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, coming back to this thing, if you feel like I would like to get something out of it, but you don't know what to do, go through issues here. And I listed some of the things that could be done. And I really like this contributing to Cardano Engineering Handbook is highly appreciated. And even if you don't get funded, it's a project at IOG, and it's a tough challenge, to merging pull requests would require some effort, and things. And then if you were to list this contribution on your resume, would be a bonus. Then there's building project-based learning on Cardano. And then there's the whole bunch of minor things that, at Gimbal Labs, doing a thing like this would cost, I would request from, I don't know. It took me 2-3 weeks to merge a pull request in Cardano node, and I asked for 350 ADA. So that's nothing. And this is not a sustainable way to exist on Cardano, but it's a good way to, practice what people actually do here, the whole process from beginning to end, and use me as a resource to help you present your idea in a way that makes the stakeholders on Cardano, other people, compelled to either fund it, or if they have, if they are in the circles that have decision-making power. Please go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, thanks, Alex. I have a question. For instance, you've said if one can contribute to one of the issues there, like, for example, contribute to the Cardano Engineering Handbook. How would I go about that, given that when I open it, there isn't much, so I don't have an idea of exactly how I would contribute? Or is it something that I'd have to talk to the person who proposed, who made the issue?
Excellent question. Thank you. So if you want to contribute to any open source project, so first, if we are to open this issue, here is the link to repository Cardano, or maybe I should improve it a little bit. So I'm going to rewrite it like this. Okay. So this is the Cardano Engineering Handbook I'm talking about. And so if I were to open it, before, like when you want to contribute, you read through README, and then it's very short, and then find maybe contributing guide. So how to contribute. And so here it is described in great detail how to go about contributing to this book. And then actually what can be done can be found, I think, in issues. So you see here, give better example of testing practices in the cast. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things people request can be done. And solving any of these issues, opening pull requests, successfully merging pull requests. The least I could do for you is to invite you to open source office hours and say, oh, let's please spend like 5-10 minutes to congratulate this person who did this thing. it's the least I can do, and hopefully, if Cardano doesn't die by June out of inner conflict, hopefully we'll be able to build this in a stream of things that you will be able to show either yourself, like some success, or even better, you can show like you are doing real work in open source program in open source ecosystem, and this makes you more expert in Cardano than you were before. So it's about knowing about when you work on these issues like Cardano engineering handbook. Why I recommend it so much, because interesting and knowledgeable people created it, and so when you work on it, you will have to ask them questions, and when you ask them questions, you will communicate with them, and you will learn about them, and they will learn about you, and that will open you to asking them like, what is your like expertise? What can you teach me? And then they teach you some things, and then what happened with me was, our team faces the challenge, and we cannot solve this problem. And I came to talk about the problem. I thought about it, and I was like, oh, we discussed this at this place. Now I remember where I can find documentation on it, and then I brought it on, and people said, oh, wow, that's exactly what, that solves our problem, right? And that's essentially how you find sustainability in open source ecosystem, is being someone else's go-to person to solve. Like the more things they can delegate to you, the more valuable you are. So it makes sense to offer you better conditions in the ecosystem, have you like allow you more autonomy, and just valuing you more. And I think that's the purpose of this group. The way I see it, is to help you guys present yourself as the most valuable version of yourself that you can be at the moment, or have a path to here's I can be more valuable, right? Other questions, please? Hello, Bernard. Nice to see you here.
Hello, greetings everyone. Thank you very much, Alex.
Yeah, listen to Bernard always, because he's very knowledgeable and he knows much more than me about the ecosystem. So yeah, reach out to Bernard if you, and collaborate, because Bernard works in Johannesburg University and does some amazing things there, working with real Cardano technology, building projects with students. And if you want to build something that is not about open source, or if it is about open source and a little bit in different scope, talk to Bernard, and welcome to collaborate. Make new friends worldwide. It's an amazing thing. That's how I actually, it made my life. Being able to make friends internationally is, I'm from Russia. I live in Vietnam now, and that's one of the biggest things that motivated me and still keeps me going, is that staying on Cardano, I'm able to learn amazing things about different technologies, even though not blockchain, but Haskell and formal verification and mathematical tools used in programming. And I'm able to meet amazing people from just so many different places. And that's a great thing, because traveling and visiting other people in different countries was just, it's mind-blowing.
Just something else. I'll take you back to something you mentioned about proposals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone asked about. I think he was kind of saying he has something he'd like to propose, and then you mentioned it has to fit in within what the this particular group is mandated to do. So my interpretation of that was that if you're making a proposal for the developer experience group, it is mostly something like a tool that helps developers in Cardano work more easily rather than a product which would be better suited for something like Catalyst, right?
Exactly, yes. Again, I wasn't maybe clear enough. If you have other proposals, it'd be my pleasure to help you, push them forward. Yeah, the scope of the working group, as you said, is the scope of the working group, and the work outside of the scope of the working group, by all means, doesn't count as contributions to the working group, right? So what would happen if you would open pull request and describe what you want to do, and then the comment from Terence or someone else would be, doesn't fit the scope of the working group, and there will be no merge on the repository. And so if there is no merge on the repository, it means your contribution isn't accepted. And that's a sad reality of open source, is that sometimes people have the best intentions, but the maintainers of the code, they don't want to accept the changes that people propose, and it creates a lot of conflict. In our case, I would like to help anyone, who is willing to share their ideas and just, pay attention and spend time with Cardano. But yeah, the rules of the game, the hard rules of the game is that have to fit with the scope of what is demanded. But it's the point of the working group. We define a topic, and within the topic, we define things that are considered this topic. Yeah. And that's what you said is right. That developer experience is anything that, that is what we do. Identify, prioritize experience issues. Okay, we kind of did that. If you'd like that, please propose and say, like, this issue exists. And tooling, documentation, and workflows. That's what you said. And then collaboration between developers, projects, and stakeholders. And that is what happened to me was someone asked, oh, I'm building a project. Is there anyone who's able to give me a consultation? Yeah, and I said, yeah, for sure. And we had a call, and they told me, oh, I want to build this product, but I don't have time and the technical expertise. So would you build this product for me? And I said, actually, I don't have technical expertise myself, but I can find you someone. And so I found them a team, and now, last time I remember, they had a deadline on end of May for working on the project. And so this is foster collaboration between developers, projects, and stakeholders. Multi-language integrations. Find documentation in your language and see where English documentation exists, but in your language it's missing, and translate it, and or even collect information about what could be improved, and make a proposal that that would take so many hours, and this is my rate, and this is how it's going to cost, like Catalyst. And then, but yeah, on a smaller scale. And then the thing is, how much do you trust me to make funds for that? And that I would be really, like, I see this as a point of my work here. You propose something, I help you get the funding for this work. But unfortunately, from my experience, I'm not really good at it. So, please don't have high expectations on that. If you'd like to do that and you would do it for free, then please propose and let's try to get your funds sometime later. If you wouldn't work on this for free, you can propose and say, yeah, let's try to do this after, and I will postpone this work until then. Then it's like maybe you will waste time writing the proposal, and that's always like your risk on writing the proposal. If you want me to write a proposal, book a call with me. I'm gonna share the link with you, and I can help you express what you want to achieve, and hopefully. Yeah, so there's my link, and also if you go into the README of the repo, you will find it in also Udai, Sugunya, and Bernard and myself there, so you can have different perspectives on your proposal of what you want to achieve. Okay, multi-language into development workshop, developer thriving framework to address social. This is I thought I would do this myself. If you want to become a developer relations expert, and this would be a somewhat complex task to achieve and interesting for me. I'm focused on other things at the moment, but developer thriving frameworks are documentation which you can present and other people read it in a in a reasonable amount of time, and they're able to reason about the subject. And developer thriving is exactly what I told you is like my goal here is to help you present yourself in the ecosystem in a way that makes you the best of getting involved, right? And this is what the developer thriving framework is. Like it's in my head, but the point here is to express it in text, and that's some research. Focus on human component of developer experience beyond just documentation and technology. I don't know what it means. That I think it means that what we're doing now. Collaborative workshops to gather diverse perspectives. This could be done in the future. If anyone has a proposal for a workshop we could attend together, and they would like to lead and facilitate a workshop like this, please propose as well. I will think about and see, because I don't know you guys, unfortunately. And that's the way that we communicate here like you. Hi, Demi. You describe your skills and expertise in a proposal. Maybe it's a good idea. I have to think about. Maybe we can do a kind of a small workshop actually on, separating demands and so what should be done within the scope of the group, and what skills and knowledge people who want to get involved have, and so we could align on our skill set and think about what we could do collaboratively. Maybe it's even better because things that we can propose on our own, only this big, and with a team and just bouncing ideas of each other could be better and more impactful contributions, which would take the same amount of effort, but would make more change on the ecosystem, and so would kind of mine more merit with it. Address pain points and obstacles that hinder newcomer involvement. Actually, going back to this, have to talk to Demi. Will trust and break down silos within developer community. It's a bit vague, but yeah, if there's a question about what this means, I will explain after. But going back to Demi, how's your developer experience thing that we discussed in the last meeting? How's it going?
Hey Alex, how are you guys doing? How's everyone?
Good.
Thank you for Ryan. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you, Alex. Well, it's great so far using. Oh, hello, Bernard. I didn't know Bernard was in here as well. How you doing?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for responding to the issues I posted on GitHub. And, well, Although I understand that it wasn't well formatted and I need to, know how to properly present my issues there. I'm still.
It's better to do something than nothing, So you did really well.
Thank you. Bernard and I are actually supposed to meet soon to address that issue. But the goal of what I'm trying to do is to set up like an easy to update, well documented Docker environment for the Cardano node that anyone can pull and use into their environment if they need to, without necessarily, worrying about the limitations of, credits and basically resources availability of block trust and whatnot, right? And all that come with it. So I just want to have a node set up and create documentation as well for updating the node and then pushing it to GitHub so anyone can use, and then put the necessary instructions there alongside other components, right?
I wonder. I have a question for you now.
Okay, go ahead.
Where did you get this idea from? How did you come up with this idea? Because I think it was discussed before.
It was while I was using the Docker environment for the Plutus Pioneer program, right? I wanted to use the same format to teach some students at a hackathon. I'm currently mentoring some students, about 300 students here in Nigeria, building a Cardano. And I intended to run the scripts, the shell scripts for building transactions and building keys, key pairs, and then just executing or demonstrating how Plutus contract work, or how smart contracts work in general. But the issue I faced was that we didn't have the node was outdated, right? So I tried updating that environment so they could use, so they don't have to run like Ubuntu or something, which is very heavy and resource intensive.
Okay. What I can actually. So recently I talked to someone who had a similar issue. So far as I understand, you want to have a starter project to demonstrate Cardano technology to someone.
Yes. So I actually suggested using the what's it called, Demeter run, but I had the same issues there, right? It kept referencing the previous node, and I've raised this in the TX Pipes Discord, but haven't gotten any response to that. So it's better to do all of that on your own in a very simple way. Probably just write a Docker file that builds and updates the node itself. So you can just pull that.
The thing is, what we discussed, this was discussed in the developer experience working group before Intersect, right? And so essentially, what
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Am I rugging?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you. Please go ahead. Oh.
I think he has got a connection issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sorry, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yep.
Yeah, now audible. Go ahead, tell me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear Alex. He was breaking up really bad on my end.
Okay. I see a hand, but let's continue. Let's finish this topic before switching to the next one, please. First of all, Bernard was working on the same issue. I hope you are connected and you're talking about it.
Yeah, we are actually supposed to meet in 5 minutes.
Amazing. And the second thing is, I think someone was able to achieve what you are trying to achieve using Bluetooth PBL. So if you just look at this repo, maybe it's because in the developer experience working group, we discussed this, and then it ended up someone from IUG showed up who was actually working on this problem. And the consensus within IUG was that actually it's too difficult to achieve and maintain, and the solution doesn't work well. And that's why I gave up on. I'm not sure how they think now, but at the time there was like instead of running a node in a Docker, like you shouldn't. And I was working on this project myself. I was doing the research, and then I said, "Oh, let's do this." And they said, "It's not the best idea." And so people for a starter project, I see people using Bluetooth PBL.
Yeah.
And so maybe you could look into it if you need quick results. Yeah.
Okay. Plus BBL, you mean from Gimba Labs, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I would actually meet with them tomorrow. They have an open call tomorrow, raise the same problem. But I think I have in the past. So I remember the problem, that specific problem. It was about just building the node from Nix, using Nix directly. And that was actually very heavy. And, you had, the whole thing running for literally over 2 hours plus just to build the node itself in a Nix shell.
Because Node is very heavy, yeah.
Yeah, so the quick way to do that, the best way to do that is to just...
Because we're having, the time is, if you look at the clock, right, you have a meeting in less than 5 minutes. So let's not go in a philosophical way. And just Ryan had a hand up. Maybe you can go ahead and
go ahead.
If you'd like to
go ahead, Ryan.
ask. Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan, are you there? You had your hand.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question like what you told us that you are creating a Docker image for the Cardano node, right? So Cardano node required a continuous syncing process. So how are you managing that? I wanted to ask.
Well, the syncing does happen every time you start the node, right? It's just about running the node itself. What I'm actually trying to do is to have the necessary installation set, right? So you basically just have like a Docker instance or a Docker image pulled into your project, and you just build include that component along with every other component necessary for your project in that same environment in your Docker Compose file, and then you run that and you basically start building, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
So as everyone can see, the same issue that is listed under number 2, like what do we do? Implement solutions to improve tooling, documentation, and workflows. And that's what Demi is focused on. New people want to learn Cardano. They need the developer environment set up. And so this is what Demi is doing, creating a way to set up developer environment for newcomers in a standardized way, so that he can just tell everyone in your computer, follow these simple steps, and you will have Cardano node running. Is it right, Demi?
yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that's a developer experience issue Demi is working on. Yeah, please test the Bluetooth PBL because it's updated and the purpose is the same. Maybe it will work out for you, hopefully. If not, I don't know how you feel about Helios, but they are very easy to install. It's like less than a minute before you can run your code, but it's in TypeScript, so you don't get to work with Haskell. If your students want to learn Haskell, then unfortunately you have to go with the core repos, and they are heavy. All right. Any more questions, remarks, comments? We are at the end of the hour.
Bernard, I've sent you a message on Discord about that meeting you have to have with Yami. I'd like maybe to drop in by, if that's okay with you, and listen in.
Who do you mean? Myself?
No, Bernard and Demi.
Okay.
I hear they're having a
Awesome.
meeting. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Amazing.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Let me send you the link.
Thanks everyone for showing up, for listening my rants, showing interest in ideas, and yeah, see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.